Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're watching us from across the continent. You are welcome, 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 welcome. I'm going to give us a few minutes, as usual, to invite your friends, invite at least 10 people, and then you can start watch parties. You can share this with loved ones. Welcome. Welcome. I am with you. I am just giving us a little bit more time to welcome some of our friends and relatives. So tag, tag, tag. Karibuni sana. You are more than welcome. Someone says, Pastor Terry, put the music. Okay, I have no right to this music. I have no right to this music. Wonderful, wonderful worship song by Patrick Abuya. Truly, truly a blessing. Join in, join in. Please share this today. Welcome. As I said, today we are talking about sexual abuse. How do we talk to our children about sexual abuse? That is our topic today. So you might want to tag in parents, guardians, tag as many people, because one way or another, we end up hanging out with our children. We end up hanging out with our nephews, our nieces. How do we know there is a problem? How do we know, how can we start this conversation with them on identifying what is wrong? That's what we're going to talk about today. So one more minute as you invite your friends and family. Amazing. All right. I want us to begin. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Today, it will just be me. yes, I just wanted to have a heart-to-heart with everybody who is tuning in now, those who will be able to watch much later, because of something that I've been seeing it's becoming a trend, which shouldn't be the case, but it is something that is really something that we can avoid as parents, as guardians. This is sexual abuse when it comes to our children. What are some of the things that we can do as parents, as guardians, to stop um, our child to be the next news? The next news every other day. Why I'm saying this, it's because every other day, whether it is on social media, whether it is on print media, whichever media you log into, you will be able to see a child, news of a child who has been defiled. And that's becoming such a huge concern for me. And I want to believe that I'm not the only one with this concern, that every single day there is someone somewhere who goes through sexual abuse. And today specifically, I want to talk about our children, 18 and below. Why? You might ask yourself why. Terry, why? Why should we even talk to our children? Some of us believe that our children are so sheltered. They have no clue what is happening. Some of us believe that our children are just, they don't need to be introduced to such. You might be right, but I tell you, our children have been exposed to so much. Again, especially in this period of COVID, we have been allowing our children gadgets. Most of them, of course, not all, but we've been allowing them gadgets so that they're able to catch up with their studies. These are the same gadgets that carry so much more. And that is why I thought today I just want to come to you and just talk about sexual abuse. How can we introduce this very dreaded topic to our children in a manner that they will not be scared? Because there's a way you can talk to them that they end up being so scared about just living, just enjoying life, enjoying childhood. And there's a way you can talk to them that liberates them, that they will be able to be empowered to know when there's something wrong, when just yesterday, if you go on my timeline, this is on Facebook, if you go on my timeline, somebody tagged me, a doctor that I respect as someone, tagged me and said, there was a case of a 62, 63-year-old pastor who went into a home. I want to believe it is a member's home. So this is, shepherd with a sheep. So the shepherd decided to go visiting this beautiful family, and they live in abject poverty. They're really financially really down, and in very many other aspects of what one would call abject poverty. So when this man got to this house, the pastor, the man of God, when he got to this home, he took some money and gave it to the man of the house, the priest of the home, and sent him away so that he can get some supplies that they really needed in the home. But what the priest of the house, the father, did not know was that the shepherd had a different plan with the sheep. So when the man left for the shore, the shepherd pounced on the sheep, a 13-year-old girl, and he raped her. Just yesterday. This is when I got the news. And we began to ask ourselves, what happened? Of course, the very first things that people do is to blame the victim and say, hey, you know what? Why didn't she shout? Why didn't she scream? Why didn't she? But let me tell you, all this is, it's a buildup from how have the parents engaged this child when it comes to sexual abuse? What has been happening prior to this? Have you engaged in this? Have you talked about this? In what capacity? Where have you put the man of God when they visit your home? How do you esteem them? What do you tell your children when this man of God or woman of God comes to their house? These are some of the things that, unfortunately, we have to talk about in today's world, in today's generation. We have to talk about this. This is the thing. Some years back, and I'm talking about years back, we didn't have to engage in such conversations. There was a way that we didn't have to, there was some topics that we really did not have to get into. And I'm talking about different topics. I'm talking about, lesbianism. I'm talking about, there is a way we didn't have to quite engage in these topics. Unfortunately or fortunately, in the world today, with the kind of technology that is at our exposure, I mean, we have all these things within reach. You cannot afford to bury your head in the sand and say, you know what, they're too little, maybe let me not talk to them. And, maybe they don't know so much. I've guarded them. I'm making sure that they do not know so much that is happening. No, no, no. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, the enemy is not outside the four walls of our homes most of the time. Of course, this is not all the time. Most of the time, the enemy is right in the shelter of our homes. The four walls they speak of protection, they speak of cover. Unfortunately, the enemy today is right there with us. And that's what I want us to talk about today. So I hope I've told you the why. The why, another why is because these are the leaders of tomorrow. We have been going on and on about leadership. We've been going on and on about leadership. But do you know it starts right from the time the child steps out of your womb? Ma'am, sir. That's the truth. It starts at that time. It's the little instructions that you give your children that will help them to become better leaders or terrible leaders. Truth be told, yes, of course, I know they can be a wayward person who just walks out of counsel. But the Bible is very encouraging because it reminds us that when they grow up, they will not depart. Meaning, there can be a time when our children depart from the way that they're supposed to walk into, but it comes to a point that what we taught them and all the prayers that we are kicking in, it will bring them back. Another why. These are the future husbands and wives. So if you have sons and you think, you know what, my son cannot be molested, my son cannot be raped, and it's the girls who are, normally that does, number one, you're wrong because even boys get raped today. But number two, that girl is going to be your son's wife. You want to have a whole relationship. You don't want a broken relationship coming into your family. You know how that plays. It's really a mess. There's so much that you need to do before everything else aligns, okay? You have that boy who is going to be your daughter's husband. Same thing. You want a whole relationship. I think it brings us so much joy as parents to look at our children and see, oh, wow, their marriage is standing and they're having fun and it's healthy. I want to believe with all my heart. That's one of the things that we get really, really excited when we see. Now, I truly know that now you are sitting down, you are ready for us to engage in this and let this be a dialogue. So please send in your questions, send in your comments. Let's see what else we can do. I can see Nyamvula, you're saying sad for sure, for sure. It is very sad that we're in times that we have to talk about these things. The other day I was having a conversation with my mother, who is 73, beautiful 73 years. And I was asking her, and I promised her, I said, Mama, I need you on my live so that you can tell us what was happening in your days. And one of the things that really struck me so hard was Mama said that during their days, I'm talking about those years, I'm talking about 60 years ago, she said that, yes, this used to happen. Of course, we cannot know the magnitude because nowadays everybody just clicks it away. We have our phones and we can share every other thing that we see. And it's a bit hard for the perpetrators to keep it on the down low. But this is one of the things that she said. During our days when it used to happen, all we needed to do was the boy who has committed the atrocity would just come in and the parents were asked to bring in a goat. They would slaughter it. And some rituals would happen, maybe do something with the blood or the skin, cover yourself, blah, blah, blah. And that's good enough. Moving on swiftly, the matter has been forgiven. Just the same way when I got the news yesterday about this pastor who pounced on the 13-year-old, I'm talking about a 62-year-old pastor, They wanted to settle it kinyumbani. For my international audience, they wanted to settle it from a home perspective, just indoors, domestic. Let's not take this thing to the police. Here's the problem that I have with this. And many times, some people have attacked me on my inbox and I've said, Pastor Terry, you should be preaching about forgiveness. Oh, yes, I am pro forgiveness, because forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness, most of the times, it is for you, not the other person. In as much as I am pro forgiveness, I want to assure you, if you do not report this perpetrator, it can be the father, it can be the uncle, it can be the son. If you do not report, what we are doing is that we are rearing a monster. Whatever you do not deal with, whatever you do not deal with today, you are giving it more power and it will grow into whatever it is it was. I don't know if you understand me. So if you allow your brother, for example, you've brought in your relative, your brother in the house, amen. Yes, amen. And then your brother ends up molesting your child, ends up defiling, sexually abusing your son or your daughter. The minute you cover him, what you have done is that you have empowered that particular act. So yes, today he can be off the hook with you, but then tomorrow he will go on and take it to the next level. Number two, yes, today you've left him off the hook, but what is happening to your child? What message are you communicating to your child? What are you telling your son? What are you telling your daughter? You're not as important. What are you telling them? That's something to think about. Let's get straight to it. Talking to our children about sexual abuse and how we as parents, as guardians, we can help them to, to away from this, away from them being sexually defiled. Not all of us, not all the parents, not all of us can ensure that our children are safe. Why am I saying this? There was a story the other day on Tuko, and they talked about a 2-year-old girl who was sexually abused. What do you tell a 2-year-old? You understand, parents? How do you teach a 2-year-old? Of course, that's impossible. So there is an age where, for sure, just don't even think about, I need to introduce it to them right now. At 2 years, what do you tell your child? They can't even comprehend what is happening. They don't even know exactly what is going on. They do not know about the sexual abuse or stuff like that, such heavy topics, but there are some things that you can start introducing your children to. The very first thing is that start when they are young. Number one, how can you introduce sexual abuse topic to your children? Start when they're young. Don't start with the topic of sexual abuse, but start with the topic of body parts. Start teaching them their body parts. And I want to encourage parents, when you're talking to your children about body parts, do not tell them, for example, their vagina. Don't call it a flower. No, it's not a flower. No. Ensure that you're speaking the right, is it scientific or the right language? Do not sugarcoat it. Do not call penny sausage. No, we are not doing those terms. Call the body parts as they are. You will understand why very shortly. Call the breasts for what they are. Don't say the little heels on your chest. No, they're not. We have little heels all over the world, not on your chest. Call the body parts as they are. True. Karen says, whatever you don't deal with today gets more power tomorrow. That is true. That is very true, Karen. So as we were saying, call the parts, the body parts, call them as they are. This is this, this is this. And I want to tell you why. If you do not call the body parts the exact name they are, the next time your child, something happens to the child, God forbid, and they come reporting to you, and they say, you know what, Uncle touched flower. And at times you're so busy doing something, it doesn't even hit you what flower means. Uncle said, I gave him my flower. And you're like, yes, give Uncle your flower, give Uncle your flower. It escapes your mind. that you taught your child flower is your vagina. And uncle is staying with you, gets to know that, oh, okay, I just need to know how to sugarcoat this, and I need to know how to introduce flower to this child. But call it what it is. So number one, you have identified all the body parts. This is the mouth. What do you use the mouth for? So the second thing is, how do you use your body parts when it comes to the mouth? What should the mouth do? The mouth, what is it supposed to do? Tell you what, we received a case, and we are going on. This girl is in our shelter, Kara Al Murani. We received a girl who the father, how the father started the grooming was, they would go to the shop and lick a lollipop, a lollipop, and then the girl, and then the father continued to bring in sausages, and the father would say, the lollipop is very nice, right? And yes, I want you to lick sausage like lollipop. So the girl started with the normal sausage, so to speak, the food sausage, to lick it as lollipop. And as time went by, this is what we call grooming. Our children are being groomed right in under our noses. And the father kept saying, lick the sausage, okay, now bite it and eat it and do what? Be gentle, be gentle. And it was a joke, it was a good joke. It was an in-house joke. Yes, you guessed it right. The father graduated. Now, let us do this. Let us now lick on my sausage. Remember, the parents have already, the mother in this particular case has already introduced the child that when it comes to a boy, their thing is called sausage. Come on. Parents, please invite others, because I really want us to talk about this. There's so many things we can avoid. Not everything, but some things. And when the baby girl started licking on their husband's penis, which called it sausage, the mother was telling us, I had no idea what my baby girl was telling me, because my baby girl was saying, I licked daddy's sausage today. And the mother would laugh and say, really? These two love each other so much. How do you give her your sausage? Just let her take her sausage and, and her moving on swiftly. She forgot. She forgot how she introduced the body parts to the child. Call the name of the body part, and especially our sexual organs. Call them for what they are, and then go to the next step and remind your child what it is for. That mouth. Tell your child it is for eating. What food, Unfortunately, and again, I will continue to say this in this live broadcast, unfortunately, we have to go into details. Unfortunately, we have to talk about this. So introduce body parts when they are young, introduce the body parts by the name of what they're called, and then you go on to the next part and tell them what they're used for. When you're talking to your children about body parts and everything, I want to encourage you something. This is something that I always tell parents who reach out to me, and parents who want counseling on how they can introduce their children to this very, very important topic: sex, sexual abuse, everything to do with sex. When you're talking to your children about sexual abuse, do not talk to them about sexual abuse before you talk to them about sex. I will tell you why. Many times we introduce our children to sex when something negative has happened. That should not be the case. They should be introduced to sex in the wholesomeness of that topic. It is a good thing. It is God created, but there is a but. It has to be in the confines of marriage. There has to be some restriction to it. There has to be the proper time to eat. Why? Because today, and I'm talking about in these times, I have had to counsel very, very, very many young girls and young boys who are just newlyweds to try and get it out first of their minds that sex is a good thing. Like, you need to have it now. You understand? It is okay for you to have it now. Yes, you could not have it later, earlier, but now you should have it. Do you know, it's interesting when we receive phone calls, I'm talking about this is my husband and I, being marriage counselors, it's very interesting for us to receive phone calls during honeymoon. And don't laugh because it happens. We receive phone calls during honeymoon. I mean, a lady is, and especially many ladies, very scared. Just, that this guy just released something and he wants it to get in me. And you begin to talk about this, and it falls all the way back to parents, back to the guardians. How were you introduced to the topic of sex? So you might ask me, Pastor Terry, what is the right time? When is the right time for me to engage about sex with our children? Oh, okay, I have an answer for you. You know, the time when the child is trying to be shy about they did bad manners and what, begin to ask yourself why. My child knows something. They might look too young. They might be young according to the age, but they know something. When your child is looking at that cartoon, take your time. Parents, take your time and watch those cartoons with your children. There is so much they know that you do not know they know. There is so much information they have on those cartoons. I took time to watch cartoons with my children, and I'm not just talking about today's cartoon. I'm talking about 3 years, 4 years ago. All they talk about is love. I mean, it's either it's horror, it's a scary thing. There's always a villain. There's always, a superhero coming forth to rescue them. Or the other agenda with all the other cartoons is love. There's this boy meets girl. There's, oh my God, I don't know how to tell my parents. There's, I do not know what to do. There's all this shy feeling going on. When you see that shy feeling going on, that's right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is your cue to move in and talk to your child because they know something. Right at that point, introduce them to the topic sex. Sex is good, but not for you now. Why? Now, build your case on that. Start building it. Start talking to them about it. Start, take time when they bring it up, when you see something in their behavior, when they ask a question. The other day, a 7-year-old girl asked me, Mommy, what is a condom? I said, okay. Okay, so this is where you put in your game, your A game on, that face, bring it on and say, oh, okay, tell me, how did you know about it? Please remember your facial expression is very, very important. You either chase them away or you either welcome them. Your facial expression before you open your mouth. The minute you do, what? How did you know about condom? Okay, they've just shut in. You've just shut them in. Okay, I shouldn't tell mommy. I shouldn't tell daddy anymore. But the minute they say, Mommy, what's condom? They're like, condom. Look at you being all wise. Okay, where did you learn about this? Come on, this is a good time for us to discuss about condom. But if you're to do a surgery within me, you would find my body like this. I'm just shaking. I'm like, how do you know about condom? Who told you about condom? Where did you know about this? And do you know, it was in a cartoon. Yes, it was in a cartoon. Like they actually learned about, yes, condom. And hey, do you have and I watched it. I said, what? This is one of the good ones. I thought this was one of the good cartoons that our children can be watching. But no, the enemy is so sneaky. Just yesterday, I posted something on my timeline again, and I saw it from a friend, a timeline, Joseph, and I pulled it to my timeline, and it was a T-shirt. The T-shirt was written, I am daddy's slut. Oh, okay, hold on. Our guest last week put it so well, on his timeline. And he said, forget about even the manufacturer. Forget about the person who came up with the thought and put it out. Let's talk about the parent or the guardian or whoever you are. Let's talk about the person who goes out, buys it, and puts it on the child. Now that's how sneaky the devil is. This thing has been on Amazon before they pulled it down. It has been there for close to a year. It's just the other day that they pulled it down because people asked questions, because people protested just the other day. But it has been online for a very long time, online for you and I to be able to purchase it and have our children wear it. I am daddy's little slut. That's what the T-shirt said. So yes, number one, we have talked to our children about our body parts for the name that they're called. And then we have told them the use of their body parts. We have introduced to them the best time for them to talk about, to use them and to talk about stuff. The next thing that I want to introduce to us is teach them the parts, then talk about secrets. One of the things that we have seen so prevalent with perpetrators is they thrive on secrecy. Don't allow your children to have secrets with people outside. How do we do that? Talk to them about secrets. Tell them the danger of having secrets. Now, it's a very thin line because I know in our families we have secrets. And when I say secrets, for example, for us, we have secret code, maybe for the house, we have secret code, maybe for the safe, things like that. So we have this, don't tell people about this, and especially the ones that they really need to know. For example, the entrance, the door entrance, such codes, and any other code that you might be having as a family. One of the things that we did pretty early, maybe because of my personal attack on sexual violence, but one of the things that we did pretty early as a family is to introduce our children to secret code when it comes to phone conversation. That when you are in trouble, one of the things that you can say that we will know, okay, something is off here. And this we saw because very many of our children are being abducted, and then the perpetrators, for example, when they sex traffic, the perpetrators at times, if it is just about the money and not raping them, then they would put the child on phone to say something to the parents. So if that be the case, amen, because that I tell you, that's a better option than having your child sexually violated. It is better for you to be taken for all the money that you have. You can always get some more. You can always work hard and get some more. But when your child is violated, we're talking about a long, long, long journey. So we have had codes that, when you make this phone call or you're in with your friend and you feel a bit, insecure over something, there's a way a text would come through, or there's a way the phone call would come through that we will know something is definitely off. So those are some of the things that I'm encouraging you. Those are the secret codes that you can have as a family. So when you're having the secret conversation, make sure that your children understand what is a good secret and what is a bad secret. For example, your phone number, it's not something that your children should just give it out to anybody, yet they need to know about it. So you understand that there's good secret and there's bad secret. So not have secret with people out there. Forget about people out there. Don't have secret. Encourage this as a family. Don't have secret between father and daughter. No, we used to play those games and they were good. This is our secret. No, not anymore. Don't have secret between mother and daughter. Unfortunately, again, I will say unfortunately, the times we are living in does not call for us to have this one-on-one secret. We can have the family, for example, we are a family of 4. We can have a family of 4, our secret, because this code, we need to do this, we need to do. But daddy and mommy, daddy and baby girl, son and mother, oh yeah, don't get shocked because some of the children that we are counseling, it's a mother who did the atrocity to the boy. It is a mother who was touching on the boy's penis, fondling with it. It's just a sequel. That's all I will say. So when you're having this conversation, I want to encourage you, and this is very uncomfortable, and especially in the African setup. Can I go there? Especially in the African setup, we are having very many people who are saying, number one, I don't even know how to introduce the topic, Pastor Che. I don't even know how to start introducing the topic, leave alone having to sit there with my spouse. The best way for you to kill this monster in your home, father, mother, if it is a family of father and mother, sit down and have this conversation. If it is a family of a single parent, for example, it's a single mother, the uncle that you really, really trust, have that conversation on your own and with that uncle as well. Why am I saying this? What will happen is that you will have cut this monster in two. What does that mean? We want to try and block every way the enemy is coming in to attack our children. Number one is communication, just talking about it and ensuring that this person is in that environment at that time. You have cut them in two. I'll tell you what. I had this conversation with a mother who reached out to me, and I said, you're suspecting something with your husband. How about you have this conversation in his presence? How about you ask him? I want us to have this conversation in your presence. And he went ahead and told the husband. The husband lashed out, super angry, and said, it is not culturally correct for me to sit down with a baby girl, and that's the work of you as a woman. Sit down and talk to your daughter about that kind of issue. 3 months later, she was right. The man was sleeping with the daughter. Now, please don't misquote me. I have to be very careful with this. It is hard to have this conversation, but I need you to be willing, and especially to the men who've tuned in today and those who will watch later. I need you. This is not a fight that we will win on our own. I need you to come in. I'm not saying you come in because you're a perpetrator. No, I'm saying you come in because there will be an uncle who will visit, there will be an aunt who will visit, there will be someone who will visit. But for you who is a perpetrator, we will ensure that you have no power over our children, because my agenda is one only today, to ensure that our children are safe. So have this conversation with your spouse rather. Husband and wife, sit down, put your children there, boys and girls, because it can go either way, and have this beautiful conversation about sex, and have this very unknowing conversation about sexual abuse, and let them know that it is wrong, number one. Number two, even I as your mother, you're telling the baby girl, even me as your mother, this is what I told our children, even me as your mother, I'm not allowed to just come and touch your breasts, touch your vagina. No, the time that I need to have access, I told my children when they're telling me, oh, I feel there's a pain on my vagina, there's 1, 2, 3, then I will be there to look and say what we need to do. And I said, when I look, I do not need to put my finger inside you to look at anything. No, I don't. Your father does not need to put his fingers inside you to look at anything. No, he does not. Uncomfortable conversation, but we have to have it, unfortunately, because of the times we are living in. When you have this conversation, it will really help. Linda Mugeni, thank you so much for tuning in. Tuned in, I love this, Pastor Terry. Thank you so much, Irene, for tuning in. Yes, sex has to be in the confine of marriage. I totally agree with you, Karen. As we were saying, so when you have this very uncomfortable conversation, both of you, I want to encourage you to be very firm about it. Let it not be a joke session. No, because they will take it exactly like that. So be very firm, but be age appropriate. Again, be age appropriate. One of the things, something else that you can do when you're introducing the sex talk, two things about your appearance. Number one, literally go to their level, literally. Meaning, if you need to pick up the child and put them at a place where you can look at each other eye to eye, go for it. If you can't, if you need to sit on the floor so that you can look at each other eyeball to eyeball, so be it. That communicates, I'm reaching you. What you're telling your child, I am reaching you. Yes, we can talk. I am at your level. Tell me whatever it is you need to do. Number two, make sure it is age appropriate. Take it to their level. Take the lingo to their level. The only thing that you cannot take to their level is the body parts. That they need to know as soon as they can try to comprehend anything. These are my fingers. This is my mouth. This is my nose. These are my eyes. These are my breasts. This is my vagina. What parts can someone not touch? What parts are the private parts? These are my private parts. These are the parts that I should not touch. Nobody should touch. Yeah, when you're showering, of course, you can touch and everything. But these are the parts where nobody should touch. Should someone just touch your body anyhow? No. In what times, in what environment should someone touch? Go through the whole 9 years. Someone say the whole shebang. Go through the entire, how can I say it? Don't lose a thing when you're talking to your children. Don't skid over it. Go through them one by one. Don't gloss over it. Attack every topic. All right. Okay, we are moving on. Okay, so I talked about secrets and how you should eliminate that secret between father and daughter, father and son, mother and son, mother and daughter. Eliminate those. Make sure you have secret as a family. This is our secret as a family. This is a secret code. This is a secret number. This is, we don't tell people about this. Discourage them, discourage them, discourage them, discourage them. I don't know how I can say it even more. Discourage them to have secrets with anybody else. Not the teacher, nobody. Even when an adult says, someone calls my daughter and says, Tehil, right? That's our secret. I say, no, we don't have secrets here. I put my foot down. Oh, no, I put my foot down. What secret do you have with my child? Yes, I might look crazy and I'm okay being labeled a crazy mother, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that my children are safe. Why? Because according to the Lord, I'm supposed to be a good custodian to them. That's all I can give. That's all I can do in this world, a good custodian, because I will need to answer to it as a leader, because when you're a parent, you're a leader. So as I said, when you're a single parent, yes, please have the person that you consider a good aunt, a good uncle, have this uncomfortable conversation in their presence, because they need to have it. They need to have it. Amazing. Do you remember the news that hit our airwaves the other day about a father and a son raping the daughter? Like brother raping the sister, father raping the daughter? We need to have this conversation. Did you see the father who turned the 80-year-old daughter to being a wife, has 3 children, turned the 80-year-old to be a child? And one of the things he did not allow these children to go out and play so that they don't have to speak to someone else. So as a parent, these are some of the things that you should be looking out with your spouse. If you're looking at your husband or your wife being so overly protective, I don't want you to have any conversation with this one. Ask yourself why. Not all cases there's someone is guilty. Don't go there. Don't allow yourself to be paranoid, because you can be, unfortunately. But balance out everything. There's so many telltale signs, so many that you and I can learn from today. Before I continue, I see we have about 15 minutes only. I want to read a question that someone has sent me in my inbox. Someone is saying, Pastor Terry, thank you so much for this much needed topic. Okay. Thank you so much for this topic. Someone is asking, how can we tell our children are being molested? How can we tell our children are being molested? Sorry, I was trying to edit it. I don't think some information she needed them to be out here. All right. How can we tell our children are being molested? This is a question that I get all the time. I can see even Shanice is asking, at what age should this topic be introduced? God bless you for this initiative. How can we tell our children are being molested? That's one of the things that I've just mentioned now. Sorry, I'm really sweating because this topic is too close to my heart. And yeah. One of the things that I've already mentioned it is when your spouse is being overly protective. This is in a two parenting setup. When one of the spouse is being too protective, like you cannot talk to this person. They're already there to check out what are you talking about, what's going on, what, all these questions and you cannot talk to them on your own. Ask yourself why. You know why? Because children have a way, when they feel safe, when they feel very, very secure, now they're able to talk to you about what they're feeling unsafe about. That's one thing. Number two, there are so many other signs. For example, bedwetting. That's something that you should ask yourself. If your child was not bedwetting and all of a sudden they're bedwetting, ask yourself why. It could be a number of things. It could be different types of traumas. It could be a change of something. It could be sexual abuse. Yes, that could be one of it. So find out. Again, communication would be very, very key. When you sit down with your child, ask this question: what is going on? You know, and make sure the environment is just right. Make sure the environment is just right. Another thing, something else you can tell is your child all of a sudden is just very, she wants to cover up. This one especially happens to girls. They want to cover up real, and it wasn't like that. You know, this little girl, 5-year-old, has been all happy-go-lucky, changing before you, but all of a sudden they just want to cover up. They just feel a sense of being exposed. They're playing out what is in them, what happened to them, because whenever you go through sexual abuse, it affects you inside in a very big way. I will be talking about this one of these Warrior Wednesdays. I will ensure that I bring this topic to you on the effects, on the long-term effects that happens to our children whenever they go through sexual abuse. So when you see your child is now covering up so much and they weren't like that, begin to ask yourself, are they just growing? Is it that something was introduced to them? This could be one of the telltale signs. Yes. Someone is asking, at what age should this topic, Shanice, be introduced? As I said, this topic has I cannot tell you a particular age where you're supposed to start introducing this topic. And this is the reason why, and I mentioned this earlier, there is no right age, because I do not know what your child has been exposed to. In the Western world, for example, here in America, most of the children are introduced to this particular topic pretty early, because they're exposed to gadgets pretty early, because internet is quite affordable, or can be found much easier. Now, many African countries, of course not all, this topic, again, they might be slow to be introduced to it. What should inform you as a parent? What you expose them to. What are they exposed to? Their gadgets. Have you been able to lock to just particular channels they can go to? Have you taken time to watch the cartoons they watch to? So do you know what the cartoons have brought to their, forefront, at the forefront? If it is a two-parent household, how are you behaving with your spouse? Because that also adds to what your children are seeing, what they are seeing, the other day, our firstborn told me, Mommy, I really love your relationship. I want to have a relationship like that. And I began to ask myself, what does she see? And I had that conversation with her. What do you see in Daddy and I? Look, what do you love about it? What is it that tells you, I want to have the exact relationship like my parents? So the way husband and wife are behaving before their children, that also will tell you what to tell them, what not to tell them. Are they used to seeing violence? Are they used to seeing love? How do you express your love? All these things will be able to inform you. What else? So there's this social media. Social media, our children are on TikTok, they're on all these other social media sites. What have they seen? So Shanice, to answer your question, and everybody else who's asking, I cannot tell you the exact age, at what age you should start, but you as a parent should be able to be keen enough to listen to what your children are saying. And that right there, as I said, will be your moment for what to introduce, what to hold it off, and how to say it, okay? Yes, another thing, how you can introduce the sexual topic is make time. Okay, when I say this, some of you might think it is just a walk in the park. Make time and communicate with them. Yes, I can do that. No, parents today, we don't have time. Our gadgets are getting in between our every other day. You know, it's answering this, answering that, and engaging this one, engaging that one. So in between the talks with our children, a call comes and we pick it, and no, parents, communicate to your children that they're important. Communicate to your children that you can actually tell someone, I will call you later. I need to talk to my child. That to them, to their little beautiful minds, that to them speaks volumes, tons of love. It speaks an overwhelming love coming from the parent that says, I'm that important. You said I'll call you later to talk to me. There are times someone calls me and I look at my phone and I say, I can't answer because I'm talking to you. Because my child will say, Mommy, someone is calling you. I say, but I'm talking to you. They say, because I'm important. I say, you got that right. Because my baby is so important. I will get to that person later. So what that says is the next time they need to come and tell you something, whether you're in the middle of a conference, pastors, hello, whether you're in the middle of, it doesn't matter what, you will stop everything to attend to that thing. The minute you push your children away by showing them you are busy, they're not able to trust you with the next conversation. And the next conversation, God forbid, it might be sexual abuse. It might be something Uncle has done. It might be something the cousin has done. So they will not be able to trust you. And when the children finally get to trust you because you've shown them, I give you my time, I am here concentrating, I'm here giving myself 100%. When the children finally get your attention, finally know they can trust you, please keep it, parents, please keep it. The minute you go out and tell someone, then they get to hear the story that you told them, they will not be able to trust you with something as sensitive as someone touched my breast. Someone told me to lick their lollipop. Someone, they won't. Why should they? Number one, the perpetrator, most of the time, they threaten our children. They tell them, the minute you tell your parents, I will kill them. Then I will kill you. Then I will kill your brother. Then I will. So they hear a lot of kill, 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 kill. Remember the cartoon they had about kill? It was this terrible person who ended up killing, or anyway, whichever way you introduce the topic of kill, it is going to be horrific. So the minute they hear kill from someone they trusted, for someone they thought, oh, this is my dad, or this is my uncle, this is my auntie, the minute they hear kill, it takes them to that very bad place. So please, remind your children, tell your children, nobody should threaten you. If anybody says they'll kill you, come and tell me. Come and tell me. That's not a secret. Come and tell me, and I will know what to do. Nobody. So assure them. Assure them how you protect them. Assure them. Take your time. Today we have social media. You have the best thing. I mean, social media is good and bad. But today at your disposal, at the disposal of your fingers, you can type in whatever you need, a video that will pop out, a child who was threatened and then was able to tell the parents, and there was a success story. Those are the things you want to highlight for you to show them. Now, I will take care of you. I will protect you. I will ensure that everything is taken care of. You know, the easiest person to convince is your child. They have so much. They believe in you so much that they know, you know, when mommy says it, when daddy says it, I'm going to be okay. But remember, the same daddy or the same mommy is the perpetrator. So when they say kill you, they know, oh, I know this can happen. That is why I'm encouraging you to have these conversations to people. Two people. I want to read something. The minute you push your children away by showing them how busy you are, they lose their trust in you. That is so true. That is so true. The minute you do it, they know mommy or daddy have better things to take care of other than myself. That's the worst message that you can communicate to your children. Lord Jesus, time is not on our side. I said, make every question they ask an opportunity for you to introduce a topic or for you to reiterate something that you were telling them before. So if, for example, the other day when my child asked me about condom, make sure that, continue with that conversation. Could you please not answer yes and no answers? What's a condom? It's bad. Don't talk about it again. Who told you about condom? No, 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 no. Or condom, it's something men use. Or women, because I know there are women condom today. No, no, no. That's not an answer. It's not an answer for an adult either. When someone is asking, take your time. Put everything aside and tell them, all right. Now, a condom, it's 1, 2, 3. This is its use. It's take your time, because you do not know what this child is asking. What more? You might pry, yes, you might pry, but will your child tell you everything? That's a good question for you to always ask yourself, and always leave that room for, maybe there's something else she's not told me, but I'm just going to cover everything on my side. Being a good steward with the people, with the little people that the Lord has blessed us with. So this is a few guidelines. Because of time, I will continue this. Maybe next Wednesday, I will see. Let's see how it goes. But these are some of the guidelines that will be able to help you to keep our children safe. Your children, my children, because this is my future son-in-law, your future daughter-in-law, something. And I will talk about this another Wednesday, about those who have already gone through it, the children who've already gone through it. How do we rescue them? How do we preserve their lives? Because that's what Kara Omurani is all about. We preserve lives. Why do we do this? Because if we do not step in and bring in different ways how we can rescue our children after this terrible, terrible, heinous act has happened to them, hurting people hurt others. They end up being, the next rapists. They end up even in prostitution because of the spirit behind what happened to them. So it is very, very important for us to look into that. Something else that I will mention when we are taking care of our children, normalize, I've talked about this, normalize talking about having this topic with your spouse. Normalize having conversations about sex. Don't live in those days when sex was mentioned and everybody is trying to cover themselves and oops, I'm guilty. No, I'm shy. No, forget about it. Not today. Why? Today, on your TV screens, even an advertisement about chewing gum is sexual. They get into an elevator and they're chewing, and then the breath is nice. And hello, are we still on chewing gum? I mean, do you guys see what I see? We're talking about a shampoo. I mean, they get there and it's the beach and they whip their hair and oh my. Are we still on washing hair? Oh, come on. No. We are living in very sexual times. So because you and I know that, how about we do right by our children? You step out of the house, they will be there. Or everything, billboards or the way someone has dressed. We are living in very sexual times. So we have to have these conversations. And another thing, when we are dealing with our children, remember patience. Many of us, we are not patient. And we only know once we start dealing with our children. Patience is a virtue. Patience is key. They will ask you questions. They will ask you the same question again. They will ask you again. And you're thinking, child, who are you? Like, who's your dad? Who's your mother? No, you need to have a lot of patience with your children. Talk to them in the language they understand at the best time. Go to their level, patiently deliver this very, very important message. I truly hope this has helped you in one way or another. There's been a campaign that I've been running, and I want to see you join me in this campaign. Parents, you will be glad you did this. Remember, teal is a hashtag that I came up with. Teal is the color that stands in for sexual assault survivors. Have this color in your home somewhere. Something. Just today, my background, my painting has teal. Have this color somewhere. My nails, you know, have this color somewhere, teal. Why? Every time you see this color, it reminds you as a parent, it reminds you as a guardian, it reminds you as a brother, sister, uncle, auntie, whoever you are, that this is the much needed conversation. It reminds you that you need to report a certain case. It reminds you that I need to protect a certain child. Something I've been hearing from my neighbor. It reminds you that I need to support those who've put their life on the line to fight for this worthy cause. And yes, I want to tell you, we've put our lives on the line. People who are working for sexual assault survivors. It's not easy. There are threats that come our way, left, right, center, because we are standing in the way of the perpetrator getting to the victim for them to go to prison. Sometimes it's for life, depending with how serious the case is. I don't know why they do that, because any case is serious, but hey, some of them lose their lives. I've mentioned this before here. We lost a girl who was coming our way in Kisumu. We lost a girl who was a victim of sexual abuse, a class 7 girl. And before she could make her way to us, she left school so that now they can prepare for her to come, and she was murdered. Support, support, support. But have this, randomly put out something, remember till the hashtag. Join in this fight. It's my fight, it's your fight, it's everyone's fight. One other thing, someone has asked a very, very good question. Esther says, thank you, Pastor Terry. Thank you so much for joining. Someone is asking a very, very good question. I mentioned this when I was beginning. Pastors. Pastors, again, they're good pastors, they're bad pastors. Same way we have good parents, we have bad parents, and we are told, don't use the word bad. Okay, we have not so good parents, maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. But this is what I'm saying. When we are sitting and you know, having this conversation of men and women of God, yes, we hold them in high esteem. Give honor to whom honor is due. I'm one of them. So give honor to whom honor is due, but not everybody is subscribing to the right things. Because you and I know that when you're having that conversation to your children about sexual abuse and parents and everything, have that same conversation, talk about your pastor. We always forget to mention our pastors, even the female pastors, because of the boy child, unfortunately. So tell them, yes, we respect our pastor. Yes, our pastor is a man or a woman of God, blah, blah, blah. But even the pastor is not allowed to tell you to remove your clothes, is not allowed to touch you, is not allowed to do any of these things. A pastor about 5 years ago was counseling someone in the church office, and another pastor, a youth pastor, went on to counsel the baby girl in another room. And he did more than counseling. He did all the touching, he did all the funding, and he put in his manhood. He penetrated. Terrible, but it happened. Better be safe than sorry. Better have this uncomfortable conversation than be sorry. Engage, engage, engage. Age appropriate, but engage. At the right time, but engage. Take every opportunity in what they're saying, but engage. The least you can do is to engage, communicate with your children. So welcome everybody on board. Remember, teal is the hashtag, protect, report, or support. Every Wednesday, we come to you with what we call Warrior Wednesday. Every last Wednesday, we have the Winning Warrior, where we bring somebody with a testimony, someone who's gone through sexual abuse. And every first Wednesday, we take time to pray for our children. Pray and fast. Not everybody pushes in fasting. If you're going to fast once a month, let it be the first Wednesday of the month. Let's pray for our children. Something is off. And this is not in Kenya only. This is not in America. This is the world over. Ask yourself, how is it that the Children's Rights Convention, how is it that a convention that has been widely accepted. It has been ratified by almost all the countries. The last I checked, I think America was lagging behind, but has been ratified so widely. But how is it that our children are in so much danger? With something that was passed so widely, we need to protect our children, we need to protect our children. For those who are spiritually alert, you will know that the attack is on the future. Attack is on the families in the future. Attack is in the society when it comes to leadership. As I say, every bad governance has its roots in the family. Every bad governance has its roots in the family setup. So we slain this dragon from that age, then we slain it for a very long time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have been your host, Terry Gobanga. See you next Wednesday for yet another Warrior Wednesday. Visit us on our website, www.karaolmurani.org, and you'll be able to be blessed seriously. Someone is saying, what does Kara Olmurani mean? Last question. I'm going to answer. Kara Olmurani means I am a warrior. I am a warrior. Once you go through sexual abuse, you know, there's your victim, you're a survivor, then you're a warrior. And I said, whichever stage you are in, we want to work with you. You're not a failure. Parents, reach out to us. Ask us how much more we can help you. And I know many materials will be coming your way to help you have this conversation with your children. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye. See you again next Wednesday on another Warrior Wednesday special. God bless you.